Oh golly, hello daddy! It is me, Purple Shep, and I would love to review another episode of Day Stallion Space. I mean Nightmare Time. Anyways, enough of that. What? Yeah. Oh no, my camera's in the wrong place. I've had to move locations, can you tell? Alright, there we go. Perfect. Welcome or welcome back. I am Jacob.
BB.
And together we are the Butter Bunch.
Butter Bunch. I love chess cam.
Yeah, my favorite.
It should be noted, I do want to preface something. At some point in the stream, probably soon, I don't know when, I will have to go for the smallest amount of time. I'm not Aidan, though, so it really will only take like 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes if I stretch it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Aidan just got stuck in traffic. He said he was going to enjoy like a 6-hour car journey today, although the 6 hours have notably passed 1 hour ago, so potentially held up a bit more.
He's having jet lag.
He's having jet lag from land vehicles.
Yeah.
As one does. But, you know, it's a shame he's not here for this one because the episode today is called Daddy. And, you know, every time we say that word on camera, he seems to have a reaction to it. So, yeah, well, looks like he's going to miss it. Also, unfortunately, I forgot to render the videos separately. And because of the new limitations on Restream that I'm not going to go into right now, still not able to download a video that's and put it in the stories that's longer than an hour. So I'm going to have to use a screen share instead. Which some people rejoice at, but hey, it means I can't read chats as easily, so, you know, that's the trade-off. Oh, and I guess it starts whenever I press full screen, even though I didn't press play. Sure, okay then.
Emily, everyone already knows that Aidan had a daddy kink.
Yeah, well, it becomes much more clear on this channel than anywhere else, but yes. Interesting title, and also, for some time, in the actual Nightmare Time theme song, we actually hear Daddy is going to get you. So it's at some places. So it seems like that's been built up. Then again, we did have a character who was called Daddy previously, but I think it's a different one. It could potentially be the father of all the sillies that we now know are all brothers. So yeah, you never know. Okay, but I guess we're about to find that out right now. So without further ado, on with the review. I could very easily skip the theme song, but I'm not going to because I just referenced it, and also because it's been a while. You know, we can hear it again. I mean, I think that those steps were timed. Actually, now I think about it, because I was like doing this boom like every time, but I could hear like a crunch of sticks, you know, on beat with the music. I think someone's brighter now. Cause your life isn't waiting long. It's a matter of time, a matter of time. Don't need to look far to find it. Every story you tell we're in pursuit. I'll go by that effect. Hey, what was that? Boo. You can run, but are you fast enough? You can hide, but I will find you. Close your eyes if you don't doze off. Yeah, no, some bits are better than the older version. And some of them are just bright in the studio now. But nightmare time is gonna get you. That was okay for him, yeah. Take every precaution, babe. Get out the caution tape, cause the timer is ticking down. Do you even understand? Oh, I can hear the timer as well. I didn't know
it's all by design, all by design. Right behind you. The hell did you stop the song for? I'm in a hurry.
Okay, we haven't seen that yet, I don't think.
You can hide, but I
This has been many times.
close your eyes if you don't doze off. Hold your breath so I don't hear you. Wish me the tears that you will leave me. Maybe be straight to those who feel me. You can run if I don't catch you. But nightmare time is gonna get you. Just run away if you want, if you dare. The nightmare's
gonna get you first time.
Just run away if you want, if you dare. The nightmare's gonna get you.
Now it should be it.
Just run away if you want, if you dare. Daddy's gonna get
There it is, there it is, near it.
you. Can't run if I don't catch you. But the nightmare time already caught you.
The Jamie Lynn universe. But the Jamie Lynns are gonna get you. Something like that. Oh, that guy's like broken up as well. I bet he noticed that. This immediately reminds me of Toy Story.
What a crime it is.
I just remembered this is Sherman, so that's a bad comparison already. You can tell exactly what's going to happen with this frame. You know, if anyone forgot who Sherman is, remember in Black Friday, the one that bought all the Tickle Me Wigglies before the policy changed.
For time to pass when I'm
And yes, Jamie Lynn verse.
with you. We could give in to name.
Interesting. I thought in this scenario, Sherman would possibly call himself Daddy. You know, as if like all the toys were his children, which it certainly makes out with them. That's even worse. Never mind. Forget I said that. Oh wait, I forgot to check the actual board as well. We have ponies, poop, tummy, smile, and then a okay. So the horizontal one, I'm not going to read that out loud, but that's a reference to Trail to Oregon. That's the name of the family actually. So why is Mr. Carl by himself? He's playing with the stuffed animals. With all the Care Bears, pretty sure those are. But yeah, so interesting that that's come up now, because I've been saying all this time there was no clear connection with Trail to Oregon to Hatchetfields, but hey, this could be an Easter egg. It could mean something else. It could mean that Sherman's descended from them. I don't know. To each their own as far as, you know, one wants to read into that. Also, for the chapter is called Young at Heart, which is the entire thing, so I'm not really sure that's because of much of a chapter, but sure.
Still fight in you.
Hi, Satan. That's what it says now.
Can you stand the test of time?
I'm surprised that Sherman had the decency to censor David here, but yes, he did. All right then. The camera didn't, though. Fantastic. You know, I don't know much about Magic the Gathering, but I'm just gonna read this. Rakdos headliner. Haste, Echo, discard a card at the beginning of your upkeep. If this came up under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay its Echo cost. Caution, audience front row may have throats ripped out. Okay, great. Don't want to spend that.
This time ticks away, but I'm young at heart today.
Aidan down that looks like he's going to eat them rather than the food in front of him.
I have lost, the years have caused, but we're still breathing air.
And as people say, you have to enjoy some of the perks of adulthood. In the case of Sherman, seems to be alcohol, potentially.
My voice still rings, your eyes still blink, you still lay down your head. Can we stand the test of time? 'Cause we're still the same inside.
Was that a timed like did they time the drum to the like the drip of the tap? Hold on. They did. Wonderful.
'Cause we're still the same inside. I'm young at heart, a youthful soul, a teenage boy at my very core. Just take my hand, we'll never ever change. I'm young at heart, I carry the years, but my heart still goes. It's beating fair.
Very risky maneuver there, having very clearly non-waterproof creatures on a bath. And facing the opposite direction. Oh no. Okay, my headphones have said low battery, so I might end up not being able to hear anything for some time. That's gonna be great. I hope BB returns soon from wherever she is right now. She said halfway during the stream, but now it was pretty quick when that happened.
But I'm young at heart, so young at heart today. 'Cause we're still the same.
The weirdest thing so far is that from a bedtime story when everything is very clearly still fully lit. Ah, there we go. There's the sillies. For a split
Excuse
second.
me, Alexandra.
Lex Foster looks up to find her boss, Frank Priceley, glaring.
And speaking of Black Friday, that's something we recognize. That's Doors Are Open is the name of that song.
Down at her.
What?
Could you at least pretend to be working?
I'm at the checkout counter, Frank. Who do you want me to check out?
She motions to the pitifully empty toy store.
Well, maybe there's a reason no one's coming in. They look through the window and what do they see? You, sour-faced, bored out of your mind, doing the crossword or whatever this is.
Can they see the crossword from the window? That's the question.
He grabs the sheet of paper Lex has been scribbling away at. His heart sinks when he sees
Is
it.
it not a crossword?
A job application? Lex, I knew you'd leave me one day, but for Best Buy? Best Buy?
Okay, I'm not leaving. I need a second job because someone keeps cutting my hours.
If you get a second job, how are you supposed to come in here and give 110%? When you're not in Toy Zone, you should be thinking about it, dreaming about it.
This is why she needs a second job.
If the two of us work together, we can turn this place around, or you could throw it all away.
That's a fair point. It does seem like Lex was always the only Toy Zone employee.
You had a future here, Alexandra.
I don't think so, Frank. I don't even think you have a future here. And it doesn't have anything to do with me or you. It's just, why would anyone come all the way to the mall when they could just order the same shit off of Amazon?
We don't speak that.
This is the reason that Toys R Us eventually shut down. I believe that Toy Zone was created right after that happened, actually, from what I know.
Or don't even think about it. I can see you're thinking it. You know what? Just go. Take the rest of the day off.
Seriously, you're cutting my hours?
I'll pay you for your time. I just don't want to see you right now.
But I do want to see you in general.
Lex throws her stuff in her bag and heads for the door.
And yes, you're absolutely
Hey.
right.
You want me to pick you up an application for Best Buy? With all your retail experience, you might even make manager.
Out. I want you out.
That night, Frank closes up shop.
That's the
alone.
most that she'd to sass Frank
His
back for the
footsteps
record.
echo through the deserted halls of Lakeside Mall. Store windows bear signs reading "closed" or "out of business" or "liquidation sale." Everything must go.
Or clearance sale, as it says
He
right there.
remembers a time when Lakeside was the beating heart of Hatchetfield. Now, it looks more like a graveyard. Frank furrows his brow.
Fucking Amazon.
At
Clydesdale
home,
to him.
he loads his groceries into his rundown condominium. He heads for the kitchen, trying to ignore the stacks of bills and the envelope labeled "Warning, Final Notice." He removes a large dog bone from one of his shopping bags, smiles, and slaps his leg.
Hey, buddy. Daddy's home.
Oh, so he's calling
Tell
himself
you,
Daddy now.
buddy, the day I had.
But the dog doesn't come, like it's done every day for the past 9 years.
Buddy, come and get your bone, you lucky boy.
Frank checks the living room, where he finds
I grow
Buddy
weary of your
lying
bones,
motionless
Daddy.
on the floor.
Buddy.
2 days later, at the Hatchetfield Animal Hospital, a veterinary technician hands Frank a can filled with ashes.
He lived a very long and happy life. How old was he, Frank?
I don't know exactly. He was a rescue. He was my best friend, my best buddy.
Never thought of Frank as a
Later,
dog person before, but there
Frank
you go.
walks absent-mindedly toward downtown.
That's the true thing about Nightmare Time.
letting
You
his
find out
feet
more about
take him
people.
where they will. Before long, he finds himself outside his favorite throwback diner, Miss Retro's.
Miss Retro.
The little restaurant is lined floor to ceiling with memorabilia from the 80s, movie posters, records, and Frank's personal favorite, a huge glass cabinet of vintage toys. He admires a miniature lime green fortress with childlike wonder.
An original Castle Grayskull. Released in 1982. It set the standard for all future play sets.
Did it?
No missing pieces. It's even got the battle cannon. Very impressive.
The owner of Miss Retro steps out from behind the counter,
With that
smiling and wiping
hairstyle,
her
definitely
hands
the owner
on
of Miss
her apron.
Retros.
Wow, you sure know your toys.
That I do, Miss Holloway.
Hey, Frank. What'll it be? The usual?
No, I'm fine. I was just in the neighborhood and
You know, something occurs to me actually. With this place being called Miss Retros, you almost think that they could actually very easily at some point rebrand themselves based on whichever decade they would need to do at the time, whether or not it's like they're like, you know, one day of the week is the 80s, one's the 70s or whatever, or potentially as the demographics get older and stop coming to the bar, they might decide to rebrand to the 90s and then, you know, try to appeal to a whole different brand of nostalgic people. Not really sure, but it kind of like lends itself to that kind of idea. Not sure if they took that opportunity or not, but you know, in universe, we can only speculate for right now.
I really don't know why I came in.
Miss
Is
H,
everything
always the
okay,
80s.
Frank?
I see. Okay then.
Silverware clinks. Miss Holloway sits across from Frank as he finishes a slice of cherry pie.
Finishes. That's like the first part of the slice. Also, it's really interesting. We've got bizarrely a lot of food related things in this, just shots in this episode. Mostly with the young at heart, but yeah.
On the TV in the corner.
Okay,
an old
I'm
toy
back.
commercial from the 80s.
I exited about halfway through the intro.
We noticed.
Yeah, catch me up.
Okay, so we got a song called "Young at Heart" afterwards, which was featuring Sherman Young, I think was his name before we threw it. Remember that the one from Black Friday? It was like, yes, in fact, I'd buy all of them. One of them will be exclusively for tickling, and one for bath times. That one, that person. But then we went into some other Black Friday characters. Actually, we went back to Frank and Lex from Toy Zone, and now with see this is still Frank in the corner here, and he's now his dog has just died.
Oh,
2 days, yeah. So like on this day, so yeah, we didn't know he had a dog until now, and
no, but now I feel bad.
He's now at a retro diner, and this is Miss Holloway who owns the.
Oh, this is the retro diner from the season 1 finale, right? With the because there is like the magic person who went to go see was it Lex? No, it wasn't Lex. It was
Hannah. It was Lex's
Hannah,
sister. Yeah. So I guess that's why, because we call it Return of Miss Holloway, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why people are saying always the 80s. So I mentioned before that a place called Miss Retros could very easily rebrand itself to something else in the future if it wanted to capture someone else, another generation's nostalgia. But for now, it seems to be focused on the 80s.
It shows kids playing with plastic, armor-clad dinosaurs. Frank smiles and motions to the screen.
Those were the good old days. The golden age of toys.
Oh yeah, I forgot also to mention Lex was filling in a job application for Best Buy, sort of implying that that not only was she not unhappy at Toy Zone, because come on, it's Lex, we know she was unhappy there, but also that the future of Toy Zone was not looking good thanks to Amazon, which is another thing that's it does seem now that Frank is really losing a lot of what's important to him.
Man,
and also he did refer to himself
as moment, huh?
He did refer to himself as daddy. I made the same comparison, yes.
All the garbage men, the cowboys, lobsters for hire. My mom and dad gave me an earful. Frankie, you're wasting your money. They had all these plans for me, and all I wanted to do was work in a toy store. Guess I disappointed them. They were hard people.
But they loved you.
Kind of explains a bit of his attitude towards Lex in a sense.
I know that now.
He seems much more caring about like the about toys in general versus in Black Friday, where most of the time it was like peace on earth and lots of money, money, just for me. So that's a definite humanizing moment for him now as well.
But when they died, I was more interested in proving them wrong. They left me some money, so I bought Toy Zone. On July 1st, 1996, when the doors opened, it was my store. Happiest day of my life.
Almost 28 years ago.
And it all went downhill from there.
I heard Lakeside was in trouble. Is it really that bad? No one's coming in?
Oh, someone is.
The next morning, Frank slides open Toy Zone's security gate.
I think we know who it is. Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Priceley.
Sherman Young.
His name is Priceley. Okay.
His last loyal customer.
Come on in, Sherman.
The man rushes in, throwing up his arms.
This is also the theme song for Wiggly from the beginning. He's a wiggly snake and a snakely wiggly. I don't know.
At last, the pearly gates have opened. Huzzah! So, what do you got for me today, Frank?
You know what sucks? I pulled up a list because we got a huge Ninja Turtle news recently. I was fully expecting Aidan to show up by now.
Yeah, same here.
That's kind of why I was saving it. But
well, I guess you'll have to save it a bit more then.
From behind the counter, Frank takes out a cardboard box.
They came in this morning. You're lucky, Sherman, you beat the rush. I expect these little guys to fly off the shelves.
Do you now?
Don't tease me, Frank. Let me see them.
Straight from the gumdrop forest, swooping down from the sweet top tree, it's the Sugar Gliders. Wave 4, baby!
From the box, Frank whips out a collection of adorable, brightly colored figures.
Shuggies!
Frank presents each of the toys with the showman's...
Shuggies kind of sounds like the name of the fan base, you know. They call themselves the Shuggies, yeah.
I'll say this does remind me, because the themes of this are quite relevant. So, recently a bunch of stuff from Amazon that I was looking at, I noticed their prices dropped, and I was wondering why this was. And yes. And so I was like, well, all right, whatever. And then this morning I woke up and found a news article that apparently a bunch of different like stores, right? Amazon, Kroger's, Walmart, and a few others I can't remember, but those are the big ones, lowered prices because no one was shopping there anymore. There was less and less people because they keep on hiking their prices up. And people are just really raking them over the coals because it's like, man, imagine. It's almost like we told you this is where capitalism would get you. And everyone's like, oh, wow, all those reasons you couldn't lower prices before suddenly solved themselves, didn't they?
Supply and demand, what can we say?
Yeah.
Flourish.
We got the heroic rainbow heart, the playful skip doodle, and that grumpy old curmudgeon, soggy tail.
Yeah.
Only those
That's
three?
the good stuff. Oh, it is so hard to pick. People talk about the big decisions in life. This is one of them.
I happen to know that Sherman is very loaded, so I don't think it'll matter too much.
See, Rainbow Heart is a must-have, but I have a soft spot for Soggy Tail. Sherman!
In the entryway, a ravishing woman in a sleek, form-fitting dress flips her hair and lowers her sunglasses.
I don't know about form-fitting.
Yeah, it seemed to be slightly falling off, but anyway.
Well, then wait!
It's definitely a baggier dress.
Also, very interesting, Jamie Lynn Beatty talks to herself.
The woman rolls her eyes.
Oh,
and
see, the
saunters
cuffs
off.
are form-fitting, though.
Sorry. She's with me.
Sherman, you dog. That's your girlfriend.
No, Mr. Priceley. That
I thought that was his mother for a second, because he talked about his mother in Black Friday, so I thought that was where it was going. Again, considering the similarity between the pair.
is my mother.
Ah, there we go, so it was, fair enough.
Yeah, let's say he never said who it was. We
Really?
could have done it.
Gobsmacked, Frank stares out at the woman, who sits on a bench reapplying her
Man,
lipstick in a compact
I guess
mirror.
something skipped a generation, huh?
That woman? Out there?
Yes, alopecia.
No. 14 hours of hard labor she's always reminding me.
Wow. She looks good.
Yep.
Hold on.
She's a MILF.
Pause. How does that... I'd liked a nice calculation about his mom's entire day, all 24 hours, please. Because at some point you have to sleep, and then you have 14 hours of preparing. What do you do in the middle of that?
I believe the 14 hours of hard labor was referencing Sherman's birth.
Oh, I thought that was like putting on makeup and doing hair and choosing clothes and all that.
That does not take 14 hours.
Well, for
You
his
shouldn't
mom
say
it
that
might.
about your own mom. I could say it.
Mr. Priceley. Are you attracted to my mother?
I'm just saying she
He seems more intrigued by that than his mother would be.
looks good for her age. I don't know what age that is, but
Yeah. That's a fair question.
If you two ended up together, you know what that would make you, Mr. Priceley.
Daddy, indeed, as he's called himself with Dog before.
That would make you my daddy. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Suddenly not so intrigued.
Well,
Hey, look, in a sense, Sherman and Frank are somewhat kindred spirits based on what we saw before, but Sherman takes the obsession to a whole new level, and that's why there's a separation between them.
she's all alone in the world. Don't know why. She's loaded.
Loaded.
And clearly beautiful, so, like we said before, it's,
Oh, God.
it is somewhat surprising, but then again, maybe there's a reason behind that.
That does remind me. I was talking to some friends back when I was in school, and we were, one was like, "Oh yeah, okay, context. We're talking about like a rich person's house recently. They're moving. We have this like mansion nearby, and so we were talking. Oh, you want to get some nice free furniture. You could always just dump or dive in there, right? And and we were talking, and one was like, man, it'd be so fun having like a rich friend, because they would just wave money and they could just do anything they want. They can say anything to me, and I just wouldn't care because I have the money. And I'm like, man, maybe that's why rich people think they're so special all the time, because they know that everyone else thinks this way.
Well,
and the worst part is, it wasn't even this one person. Everyone agreed with this sentiment that if you just wave enough money in their face, it's like, well, yeah, you can say whatever you want to me. I don't really care. I'll be your best friend. And it's like,
Is Sherman meant to have an accent, or is that the actor? Pretty sure I'm showing. I'm pretty sure that is how you spell Sherman. And no, that is, well, to my knowledge, Jamie Lynn Beatty does not have that accent normally. I will say I don't think I've ever actually heard Jamie Lynn Beatty speak out of character, so I could be wrong in that regard. But this is the only accent. There's only character with that accent that she's played, unless the mother also has it. But I haven't quite worked that out yet. It's actually for preview, Plain Suspicion. Yeah, the reason of that's in reference to Sheila Young's single status.
Yeah. How do you think I afford all these toys?
This is also, yeah. He did actually say in Black Friday that got like a loan from his mother or something. So yeah.
On curbing my spending habits. But just look at these shuggies, huh?
Frank Priceley smiles.
Speaking of rich friends, this is much. God, I have a rich friend.
I'm sure this never came up before. Like, at least like Sherman being loaded, to be honest, not the mother parts.
Sure, yeah.
You can tell what he's thinking now, honestly.
Yeah, he looks very happy. But no, I have myself a pretty rich friend, and it's so hard to schedule things with him, because he's always off doing rich person things. But it's quite funny, because him going, oh yeah, we're going curbing my spending habits, reminds me a lot of the only smart money choice my friend has ever made in his life, as far as I'm aware. Right? I mean, he's going to cons, he's going to Disney World, he's going off to like multiple states away constantly, all the time.
You say going to college does not count as a smart money use?
No, going to college is not a smart money use, but I didn't say college, I said con.
Oh, okay. Aren't you going to college as well?
Yeah, for free.
Right, okay.
Because I had a scholarship.
Right.
But no, he didn't get a car. Instead what he did, he just got his father's truck and has just been rolling around in that thing for actual years at this point. That is the only thing that I've ever seen him ever play things intelligently when it comes to money, because he is so the type of person to just burn a couple $100,000 on a new car. Instead, he just has his old pop's hand-me-down truck, and I find that hilarious because at no other point is he ever anywhere near town.
Well, at least that way you always know whenever he's nearby. You're not gonna make that mistake ever.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to schedule
You're
him.
right.
Him and I
They're
are going
all vital
to an
any
escape room in September.
Cool.
Collector, I mean, you can't break up the sugar gliders. They're a team. No.
Now he decides to be like, oh yeah, let's do it. It's interesting because, like, again, in this reality they know each other, but it seemed like there was the first interaction in Black Friday. It was the first time they ever actually met, because he didn't seem to recognize Sherman at all. In fact, Sherman actually introduced himself to everyone, including Linda Monroe.
A family. From atop the sweet top, the Shuggies go gliding, riding the rainbow, adventure awaits.
Their hearts are glowing, the Shuggies are showing the magic of family, 'cause love conquers hate.
Okay, if this isn't the outro song, I'll be disappointed.
Shuggies are gliding, they're soaring.
I'm calling it now.
Shuggies
They're
are
doing it in
gliding.
such a like Disney princess type like vibe of it. I'm telling you right now, if this is the outro song, it's gonna be like some hard rock instrumentals and stuff. It's not gonna be sung in this way at all.
Maybe. Alternatively, we could end up in a situation where, I don't know, something horrible happens to Frank. He's unable to escape the situation he's found himself in, i.e., you know, about to marry Sheila, for example. I don't know, maybe the reason she looks so young is because she steals like the youth from other people or something. That's how she continues to live, and that's why Sherman looks like that, because he doesn't do those things. And so he can't escape, so unfortunately he withers away. And then we cut to the end sequence where it's like, where it's the most angelic thing ever, despite the fact we've just seen the most demented and contorted thing of the day, because it's nightmare time. And that's the contrast. One of those two.
On skin flaps of love.
Skin flaps of
Oh,
love. Ugh.
what the hell?
Jeez.
I'll get 'em all.
Later, Frank scans the final item in a mound of packages.
And yes, that is also, you know, give us your effing money, give us your effing cash. That one.
So that's all the dolls in Wave 4. The Sugarmobile and the Sugar Copter.
And that's the idea,
sweet
yeah.
top play set. And last but not least, Count No Good and his no good goons.
I would say this is not curbing Sherman's spending habits, but considering that he bought, you know, 450 Wigglies or whatever it was in Black Friday, yeah, that's not really much to say. Unrelated, by the way, my headphones have got low battery, so I might just end up not being able to hear at some point. So you might have to take over at some point, but we're good for now.
Your total comes to $397.27.
Sherman's mother stands at the register, frowning.
Sherman, what have you done?
Don't shame me.
Everyone
I
does.
could never say no to that face.
Yes. This
It's surprising how many people have like a blue light on one side and a red light on another in Nightmare Time. That seems to be like their signature look now.
ever.
She takes out her wallet while Sherman snatches up the toys and runs from the store.
Yeah, see? Blue and red. Same thing with Corey.
Oh no, it
I
was
sent him in with
850
explicit
Wigglies.
Instructions.
Okay.
One toy, and here I am walking away with $400 worth of flying squirrels.
That's not
sure we're
400 bucks.
How's Sherman going to carry those?
I clearly see tens and ones there.
Hey, if you got the
I know, right? How dare they not, you know, withdraw $400 for this?
money and it makes you happy, why not?
It was something to see. You were so full of life. I've been
Oh,
missing
is he now? Might have been onto something earlier.
that kind of passion. Here you are.
She hands him a stack of bills.
Oops, it's only 400. You gave me an extra.
That's a tip, isn't it?
Consider it a tip.
Yeah, there you go.
This isn't really that kind of place.
Well, Then you simply must let me have you for dinner. Would Friday at 7 o'clock work?
Again, the way she says "have you for dinner," it's Hatchetfield, as has been pointed out by by Koala. So,
I don't want to impose.
Please. Sherman talks about you all the time. Mr. Prisley, Mr. Prisley. I feel like you're part of the family already. My address is 13 Conifer Lane.
In Pinebrook?
Where else?
oh, we're not gonna have to cut through Pinebrook this time. That's a first. Wonder what Paul thinks about that.
Remember, 7 o'clock. Don't keep me waiting.
That Friday night, Frank's junky Ford Taurus pulls up to the
Oh, is this
towering
the first time we've seen Nick Lang in this video? I think it is.
iron gate surrounding 13 Conifer
And
Lane.
again, red light, blue lights. I guess
Nick looks so normal, he doesn't work. He looks like he contrasts everything else we've seen.
Yeah, I'm guessing the red light, blue light thing is because they've recorded their parts in one studio at different times to each other, and then they sync them up.
He rolls down his window and presses the intercom.
Hi, Frank Prisley. I'm here for dinner.
The intercom crackles and the gate screeches open. Frank guides his car through the estate's winding driveway to a monolithic
Oh, he gets some more B-roll
stone
in
mansion.
Nightmare Time too.
He gapes up at it.
Loaded, huh? I'll say.
When Frank rings the bell, the double doors are opened by an impossibly tall man in a tuxedo. He's gaunt and
Hello?
ghost white. He glares
We were just about to do the time warp again.
at Frank with large, sunken eyes.
Is Mrs. Young home?
Sure to love gamblers.
Just as Frank backs away nervously, Sherman appears.
Marco, relax, will ya? Hello, Mr. Prisley.
Hi, Sherman.
Please tell me there's another character. This character has a twin brother called Polo. That'd be amazing.
The giant butler nods and wanders off.
Also, I'm noticing the mismatched ears because that's like a little bit of like a there's a hole for the head, but the ears are in two different places. That must be custom made.
Don't mind Marco. He's a big softy.
Huge softy.
He used to throw javelin for the Olympic.
Frank Prisley.
For the Olympic. The singular Olympic? What?
Sherman's mother descends the grand staircase in a sparkling black evening gown.
Welcome
That's why she said 7 o'clock. She had to time this entrance. She knew what she was doing.
to my home.
To my humble abode.
At an ornate dining table,
Hurrah.
Frank chews a piece of mouth-watering steak.
You are some cook, Mrs. Young.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was Marco. And his brother Polo. Polo is an amazing chef.
Please, Frank, call me Sheila. And I don't cook. I just eat. But I will send your compliments to Marco. He takes very good care of us.
After dinner,
Sherman was just observing them the whole time, being like, everything is going according to plan.
Sherman throws open a set of large double doors.
Ta-da!
He flips the light switch to illuminate a cavernous room with rows upon rows of glass cases. Inside is the most extensive array of toys Frank Prisley has ever seen.
Wow.
Guess he's not the only place.
It's
not the
a
only place it
work
goes.
in progress.
Or he is, and it's
No
just this is
collection
after
is ever
so many years of collecting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Frank did say he bought Toy Zone, so maybe Sherman was a customer long before.
In awe, Frank hurries from one case to the next until he spots a shelf of vintage toys that he himself collected when he was a boy. He gawks at one figure in particular, held aloft on a rotating pedestal.
That's a gold-plated chrome star. Mint. In the box. That's the holy grail of Cowborg toys.
Cowboy
I knew
toys.
you'd appreciate it. You're the only one who does.
Who else has been here, Sherman?
You know what they say. Growing old is mandatory, but growing up is optional.
I have heard that phrase before.
Growing up is for poor people, Frank.
I've not heard that one before.
Right. Well, this is beyond impressive.
Yeah, well, Mother says she spoils the men in her life.
Does she now?
Later, Frank looks up at a portrait of a stern, regal man. It hangs above a crackling fireplace.
The late, great Mr. Young.
She has that mother energy.
Very true.
Just a baby.
I'm sorry. Was he sick?
No.
No, I ate him. What do you mean?
He was murdered.
We're not going to address that one, sure.
You're a good man, Frank Price.
The mansion, of course someone's murdered here.
Yeah. Also, I like this. First I thought Sherman was weird, but now I think he's funny. Yeah, it could be both. I will say, that's one of my favorite deliveries in all of Black Friday. What can he say? Though years have passed. Though years have passed. Anyway.
I've become quite a fan myself.
Hey, you're not so bad yourself.
Frank, I may not look it, but I'm too old for games. We both are. Oh, I have this big heart.
That's a fair point. We don't actually know how old Frank himself is. We don't really get an indication of that at any points.
And all this money and no one to share it with. Yes, there's Sherman, but he can't quench all of my desires. Which is why I propose a partnership.
Partnership.
To put it bluntly, Frank, I want to marry you.
Nice that he turned away so didn't spit on the recording equipment.
Marry me? You just met me.
I don't believe in any of that soulmates or naive foolishness. A marriage is a mutually beneficial contract between two parties. Besides, I could use a man around the house. Look, I know the mall is about to be shuttered. And where does that leave Toy Zone? Together with your business skills and my resources, we can ensure that Lakeside stays open forever. So, what do you say, Frank?
Someone could probably buy Lakeside, to be perfectly honest.
Are we in business?
Well, that would ensure that it stays open.
Wedding bells
Yes.
ring. Frank and Sheila run down the church steps and slide into the back of a limousine. Tin can.
Sheila made a very bold decision to, run in a wedding dress.
Cans clatter behind the car as they drive off to the airport and their new life together as husband and wife.
I like how Frank is in a suit, but Sheila's in the exact same dress as before. Not that, we needed Jamie Lynn Beatty to go out and buy a wedding dress just for this or have it be provided by the costume department, but you never know.
Weeks later, Frank Young.
I forgot what Emma did, actually. It's been so long since we did that episode of when Paul and Emma got married. I think she had one.
Presley, decked out in a $6,000 suit,
Well,
strolls through the door.
when Paul and Emma got married.
Okay, yeah, well, sorry, yeah, when Paul and Emma got married.
Miss Retro's throwback diner.
So the rumors are true. Frank Priceley's off the market. Gonna be a lot of broken hearts around town.
What can I say? Sheila made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
At the bar, across from Miss Holloway, Frank swallows a mouthful of pie.
There's a character
Honeymoon
named
was something.
Holloway in House of Leaves.
Else. Don't know why Sherman had to tag along. Sheila babies him. That's the problem. Well, Daddy's gonna put a stop to that. His toy collection's big enough.
I'm surprised that he wants to curb that, considering he's so impressed by it.
Let me get this straight.
He's
You
projecting.
got a parent who doesn't approve of his son collecting toys. Where have I heard that before?
There's a big difference between me and him. I scraped and saved for every toy I bought. Sherman is spoiled. Rotten.
Later, Frank gets
Yeah.
back
Not sure if he's going to be able to put his foot down with Sheila on that one, all things considered.
in his chair as workers replace Toy Zone's ratty old
I had a
carpet
feeling that
and give the
them
wall-
saying how much he always wanted some of these toys that he never got was going to be important, but I wasn't too sure in what direction they were going to go with. Now it makes sense, yeah.
walls a fresh coat of paint.
To be perfectly honest, considering that they live in the same house, they can very easily share the collection.
So now that you're rich, can I get a raise?
Well, how can you? I don't know if you can. How do you share that kind of collection? You don't open the boxes.
Then no one person ever uses a collection, so it doesn't really matter what happens.
Well, if
Honestly,
you're the one
at that
who-
point, the only reason to have the collectibles would be to look at them and to say that they're there. So
I would
both
agree.
of them could very easily do that.
Well,
if they're in
no,
the
because
same
one
house.
of them. Well, because one of them spent money on it. So, well, actually, I guess if we're putting that as the criteria, then technically the mom owns the collection. But
Mhm.
Your promising career at Best
And by
Buy.
proxy, him, because he's now married to her.
I don't think that's how that works. But I really like the idea that on the contract of the arrangement, it's like I also bestow upon you my son's toy collection.
Well, remember what Sheila's wording was. She has all this money and no one to share it with. So very clearly there was no chance of a prenup to this point.
Your dazzling resume didn't catch their eye?
Okay, forget it.
I believe people get what they deserve. So, I will give you that raise, Alexandra, when you prove to me that you deserve it.
Whatever.
She walks off. Frank smiles.
This is the Frank Price that we remember from Toy Zone from Black Friday.
I'm a disciplined daddy.
The next day, Frank...
Man, I really wish that Aidan were here to watch this video. That would have been the line that he would have lost everything at.
Man, I'm telling you, he'll show up and it'll be the outro.
Just like, hey, what did I miss?
the grand staircase of his new home to find the whole place.
And he'll be
filled
like,
with
I wasn't gone
balloons
for
and
that
streamers."
long. I'm not that late.
Meanwhile, we're like an hour into this stream right now at this very moment.
Right. God, it's like that one day where we had to put up a poll for what we were gonna
scratches his
do. We
head.
stalled, and it was like an hour. It was 30 minutes to an hour after stream, and he was surprised that we had done Harry Potter or some other musical instead. No, sorry, it was me and my dick that we did. That was why we started that in the first place, I think. And
yes.
And he was like, "But I wasn't going." It's like, man, what are you talking about?
Oh, speaking of MAMD, actually, to the live viewers and also to VOD watchers, because again we do read the comments. What apart from Nightmare Time, what Starkid thing should we cover next? Should it be Little White Lie or Starship, which would be the next musical? Which one of those do you think would be best to cover alongside Nightmare Time? Because obviously we're still going through in that order.
Huh?
In the kitchen, Sherman
okay.
sits at the breakfast table. Sheila sets out another bundle of balloons.
That must be a birthday hat. Oh, it's a birthday hat, yeah.
Frank walks in.
Good morning, Daddy.
News because I got.
Hi. Sheila, what's with all the decor?
We're celebrating. It's Sherman's birthday this month. That means every day is a party just for him.
Okay, I have heard people do birthday weeks. Sometimes that's which I can somewhat get behind, because on one hand you don't want to just pour all the celebrations that you might want to do into one day, having to cram different reservations or something. So if you say oh, we can't get this day, which is the actual birthday, okay, we'll do it sometime this week. That to me sort of makes sense. A birthday month is where I draw the line, personally speaking, but
I will say we have a birthday day, but because so many people in our family have a August birthday, it tends to fall on like the same day.
Oh, so you mean like you have like a communal day?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
because it's all so close together, there's no point in celebrating it all separately. Like, my mom's birthday is a day before mine, for instance.
I can understand that. Yeah. Well, wow. Imagine if you went. Imagine if she almost went into labor on her birthday. Jeez, that would have been.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
I was the gift.
you were a late arrival. You got lost in the post for a bit.
Yeah, I was belated. Happy birthday! That was my first words.
It's like Frosty the Snowman from
Yeah,
the
God dang, I was about to say that too, yeah. It did occur to me that I said that until after I said, I was like, oh no, I missed an opportunity and now Jacob's gonna beat me to it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, two of my friends from Spain were their birthdays are 2 days apart from each other. So consider like everyone in our year group would like have a birthday party where they invite the entire class. Yeah, they just always combine their birthdays together and they
Sure.
seem to be fine with it.
This was me after coming out of the womb, by the way. Sheila's face.
That was your
Happy
face.
birthday!
Oh, God. Also didn't say it like that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Rich people. How'd you turn in, Sherman?
41.
Big boy.
Again, how old is Frank is the real question.
Mother, I will have a bowl of marshmallow charms for breakfast now.
Of course, baby.
I will say they're probably relatively the same age because they have the same like level of 80s nostalgia to each other.
Copyright friendly Lucky Charms.
Of course.
You can have
Which is weird because they're able to mention Castle Grayskull by name, but I guess Lucky Charms was too much. Also, what a pause frame. Jeez. I apologize to both Jamie Lynn Beatties here. My goodness.
anything you want.
Happy birthday to me.
I love how he says it in a sing-songy tone. Happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
Mellow Charms. What kind of breakfast is that for a grown-ass man? Sherman, why don't I teach you how to make some eggs?
He grabs a frying pan from the cupboard.
Cookie
Sherman stares
Crisp
at
is
him,
very
baffled.
good.
She looks.
I love it.
Thanks, Frank.
It shouldn't even count as a cereal, really. It's just a bunch of tiny chocolate chip cookies, but it's a cereal, supposedly.
Yeah, I've had Cookie Crisp before. A lot of the time is why I have it at my aunt and uncle's house because that's what they had for some reason. Yeah, the one thing that was weirding me out was always the texture of them. The taste I was fine with.
By the arm
Sure,
and drags him from
the texture is always the biggest downside for cereal in general. I would have more cereal if the milk didn't hurt. Here's the thing, right? You can't have cereal without milk. But every time I eat cereal and then you drink the milk and all that, I don't know why, but the milk, it makes my like the top of my mouth really dry, and so my mouth is just really uncomfortable for the rest of the day. It sucks. I don't know why this is, and I've asked people if this is an experience they've had, and it's always no. So clearly, I'm either doing something wrong or
Chaps,
my body is.
What do you think? Is that, Chap, was that your experience at all? Also, congratulations to Bluke who made it to the stream. Welcome.
Which you would think is weird, right? Because I drink milk every day, and it doesn't do that. It's only with the cereal, so it's weird.
Well, that's
because I don't
clearly
think it's
the
cereal,
variable then. I mean, experiment successful there.
right? But I just don't know why it has that effect. I'd like to taste the good stuff and not be in pain for the rest of the day. I don't feel like there's an open void at the top of my mouth for the rest of the day.
Next time I have Cookie Crisp, I'll let you know.
Well, it's any cereal, really, but...
What are you doing? Sherman does not cook. He's not allowed anywhere near the stove. A grease fire could set him ablaze and kill him. We have Marco for that sort of thing.
Don't you think it's our job as parents to prepare Sherman to survive on his own? There's gonna be a day when we're both.
He is this close
And
to having a
when
midnight.
Marco's gone, presumably.
He's this close to having a midlife crisis. At this point, just let him be. There's not much left to prepare him for.
I'm not going anywhere. Now give him the cereal.
Again, that's a important line there.
All right.
He pours a bowl of marshmallow charms and drops it in front of Sherman.
Here, enjoy.
It's not enough.
Is this a joke? I can't eat that.
I'm glad you agree, because that is a bowl of sugar, and you're kind of getting up there, pal.
God, Frank, what are you doing? You just gave it to him straight out of the box?
What should I have done, Sheila?
What, fed him or something?
Yeah, first marital argument.
Oh, never mind, I can't do the crunchy pieces.
You mean the cereal?
It's cereal.
Very weak teeth. He'll break them on these.
I'm surprised you don't get Marco to prepare that in that case.
Pick out the hard pieces and throw them away. Usually Marco does this, but now you're going to.
Okay.
Are you serious?
Yes!
I love how the music just cut out.
Yeah, like, let me just process that one for a second. Cut the music for a moment. Yeah.
See me furious, you'll fix the damned cereal.
Frank opens his mouth, ready to lay down the law, then relents.
Because he remembers where he is and who really dictates the law in this house.
Okay.
Yeah, the man of the house doesn't really exist here.
After 20
Unless you count Sherman.
minutes of
I would not
rummaging through
consider him
cereal,
the
removing
stereotypical
crunchy
man of the house. He is a man in the house.
Well, as far as... But my understanding was always, that the man of the house would be whichever man would be like the most in charge in whatever house, not necessarily the archetype of what would classify as normally. But yeah.
Well, sure, but he's not in charge though. He can't even eat things correctly.
He probably feels more in charge than Frank does right now.
bowl in front of Sherman.
That's fair, yeah.
Thank you, Daddy.
Sherman begins scarfing it down. Sheila runs a hand down Frank's back, nuzzling her head against his shoulder.
I'm sorry I was harsh, Frank, but you have to understand. He's my son. I'd do anything to make him happy.
I get it. Sherman can eat all the garbage he wants, and when his body falls apart, you got plenty of money to fix it.
I'm so glad you understand.
Hey, yeah, man's got good health insurance. What can you say?
See?
He's the last person on Earth who can afford $1 million health insurance.
Oh no, do you miss a piece?
Sherman hurls the bowl across the room. He collapses
Either Frank missed a piece or Sherman's actually got a cavity.
to the floor, writhing and screaming.
Sherry? Sweetheart? What's wrong?
I crunched something.
God, Frank! You left in one of the hard pieces? What have you done?
An actual hospital?
Hours later,
Ambulance sirens,
Sheila
I mean?
and Frank stand in
Wow.
the waiting room of St. Damian's Hospital. The nurse on duty, Becky Barnes, flips through a chart.
Of course, it's Becky Barnes.
Okay.
And yeah, this is what can you say when you love each other? That one.
I
best.
see.
I
Luke,
reckon it's all the musical tunes.
I don't like Sherman, but I can deal with Sherman more than I can deal with the Christian lady from the other. What was her name?
Grace Chastity.
Yeah, I gotta hate Grace. Gotta hate Grace.
Yeah, Grace Chastity's a nerdy prude.
I've got good news, Mrs. Young. Sherman's teeth are just fine.
Oh, really?
Just applause.
And how would you know? I want to talk to a doctor, not the hospital floozy.
Doctor, tell you the same thing, ma'am. Now, we'd like to get Sherman out of here as quickly as possible because this is the pediatric wing and he's a grown-ass man.
Why did they take him to the pediatric wing? I know that, the whole, like, young at heart, baby, whatever, but, like, at the same time, kind of seems like the hospital staff themselves would have taken him somewhere else. But, alright, whatever. Not to buy his own toys at the very least. You don't understand Grace Chastity like I do. I do! We actively, like, last time, we went over, like, Grace Chastity as... But like in abstinence camp and talked at length about like the different like what might be going on there.
I don't care what's going on there. I don't like her.
Like, it's the same thing I say sometimes like getting gotcha reviews. Like I understand something and I also disagree with it. It really does depend. In this case, I'm like, yeah, I got what she's about.
Later, Frank and Sheila wait outside the front entrance.
Well, that nurse was an idiot. Did you see the way she talked to me? I am never coming back here again.
I mean, you're not supposed to
Sheila,
be here anyway.
Sherman's fine.
Fine?
Also,
So
I was
so-called
really
doctors.
surprised they didn't go down the whole, like, I want to see a doctor, and then that she is a doctor.
Well, that's because we already know who Becky Barnes is, so they couldn't do that.
You know. I don't know, it's an alternate timeline. Maybe she got a promotion. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe she didn't kill her boyfriend in this alternate reality, so she wasn't distracted and actually continued her medical studies in
Yeah, she did a couple extra years in med school.
Broken off and burned into his blood.
That being said, it was her boyfriend that originally convinced her to go to medical school, so the fact that she's a nurse in this timeline means that either she decided that on her own independently, or the boyfriend would still be alive in that case, and that's even worse for her.
Stream and killed him.
I think you might just maybe be overreacting.
Don't you dare gaslight me, Frank. You almost killed our son.
I don't think she knows what gaslighting is.
Big trouble, mister. Big trouble.
The doors slide open and Marco pushes out a wheelchair.
I'm
containing a
thinking of
pitiful
that
looking
of
Sherman.
Friends. Not Friends, sorry, no, Full House. Very different show. Incredibly different show.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking of Full House. Both of which great shows, but very different. Full House, because one of the whole things is one of the little girls, it's been a while since I've seen. I used to watch it like every morning and every night. It was good. They switched the blocking on
One of the girls.
one of the girls, one of her things was always whenever someone did something like against the rules or whatever, and it was usually the main point of the episode, like, oh no, you gambled or whatever, she'd show up out of nowhere and go, you're in big trouble, mister, even to like the adults or whatever. Like a lot of times she would do it near like Uncle Joey or whatever, and then Joey, big comedian, is like, okay, here, I'll give you this if you stay quiet or whatever. And
That's why you thought of Friends, because there's a comedian named Joey.
Maybe, yeah. Like I know one time that happened, and then her parents showed up and they saw her like fistfuls of candy or whatever, and they're like, come on, or whatever, and then she rats on him anyways. But
the implications of Stanley makes us the reason she went to nursing school. Well, I mean, that is something that Becky said herself, that Stanley was the reason that, he convinced her to go to medical school. That's why she knew where his femoral artery was. That was her words.
Yep.
Just gonna hand this to Sheila. I don't trust her. This was your tipping point, was it? This was the moment. It's Hatchetfield. Also, yeah, I guess that's a good point. He did keep the party hat the whole way through. And also, the idea there's like a wheelchair for a dental appointment. Very different area of the body there.
Sheila rushes to him.
There he is, my brave boy.
This is the worst birthday ever.
Your birthday's in 3 weeks, Sherman.
They put a strap on my arm and pumped it full of air, and it squeezed me so tight, and I was so scared. I wanted to get out of there so I could see my.
Well, something. There's actually that to my knowledge, they don't really tend to use that. Like that's the strap they pump with air on like anywhere other than a pediatric department. I don't remember that ever being used on me as an adult. So, well, that's one thing you could have dodged there, Sherman.
Mommy's here.
Daddy.
Sherman hops out of the chair and throws his arms around Frank. Sheila glares at her husband with white-hot jelly.
I'm surprised that, Frank is so happy about that, considering that he's not exactly fond of Sherman anymore.
Later, the limousine pulls up the driveway to the young mansion. Sherman has fallen asleep on Frank's shoulder.
Sucking his thumb. Nice detail there.
A trickle of drool has leaked from Sherman's mouth and down Frank's sleeve. Sheila watches, silently stewing. Marco opens the back door and picks up Sherman, careful not to wake him.
Marco, carry him inside.
They go. Sheila lights a cigarette and rounds on her husband.
I bet you just loved that.
What? Having a grown man drool all over my shirt?
He only prefers you because I'm the hard ass who made him go to the doctor. Well, I'm sick of it,
She made him go? Okay.
Frank. I can't be the only one doling out discipline. You're not allowed to sleep with me tonight.
Okay, fair enough. Also, as far as doling out discipline goes, he got shut down last time he tried to do that.
Fine. I'll sleep in one of the other 20 rooms.
Oh, no.
A fair point.
No, you're not. I don't know where you're going to sleep, but it won't be under my roof. Good night.
She slams the front door and locks it behind her.
Sheila? Sheila!
That was a very quick reflex there to lock the door before he was able to like actually just open it himself.
Come on! Open up! It's getting cold out here!
Frank. Thunder booms overhead and rain begins to fall. In no time, Frank is drenched.
Great! You know what? Fine. I'll get a hotel.
Soaked and shivering, Frank trudges through the mud to the property's front gate. When he gets there, it's shut tight.
How do you open this thing?
He looks.
A fair point. I remember when I had a job as a location runner on a film set. One night I had to try and like get a hotel. I was because like we went over in terms of the hours of the work, so they actually closed the doors, so I wasn't able to get there. So I had to go like at like 1 a.m. through the streets of London trying to find a different hotel, so which you could only book through online, despite the fact there was a receptionist there the whole time.
Looks up at the gate. 12 feet of iron with some nasty-looking spikes on top. Without much of a choice, he takes hold of the bars and starts to climb. He gets halfway up when his foot slips, and he crashes back down to the ground.
God damn it!
Later, Frank sits huddled beneath a tree, trying and failing to stay dry. He coughs and shudders.
I can't feel my hands. I can't feel my hands.
Oh no! Did he cut himself on a rusty piece of metal?
Frank looks back to the mansion. He circles the perimeter.
Well, he
trying
said he
all
was
the
getting
windows
cold
in
out
the
here.
front.
He might be getting frostbite.
And that's really getting cold, yeah.
Ground floor. They're locked and barred, every one. He looks up to a balcony on the 3rd floor, Sherman's bedroom. He grabs a gutter and starts to climb. Inside, Sherman is awoken by the sound of knocking. He bolts up in bed.
Peter Pan?
Sherman rushes for the balcony doors, where he finds a dripping, worn
I
out
understand why you want to go to be a Peter Pan.
Frank.
Sherman, open up.
No. It's just my daddy.
Sherman
Just your daddy? You were so happy to see him before.
unlocks the doors and cracks them enough to peek his head out.
Oh, thank God. Let me in.
I don't know. Mother left you out there for a reason. She'd be pretty PO'd if I let you back in.
Get the fuck out of my way.
Frank plows past Sherman. He storms down the hallway, fuming. He kicks open the door to his bedroom. He heads for the closet and starts cramming clothes into a suitcase.
If it's his bedroom, that implies it's the bedroom that he shares with Sheila, so she probably already knows that he's there.
As he does, Sheila appears in the doorway,
Of course she does.
sipping a brandy.
Excuse me. What do you think you're doing inside?
Packing.
Packing? What do you mean packing?
Frank opens a drawer and grabs his car keys. Suitcase in hand, he heads downstairs.
You think I'm gonna stay here after a stunt like that? I could have died of hypothermia.
Or frostbite.
Now who's overreacting, baby?
Baby? Baby? The baby is that 40-year-old man you keep dressed in footy pajamas. You've trapped him in boyhood. You wrapped him in a bubble of toys and sugar cereal. You're so out of touch. You're both so rich, it's turned you into monsters. Your money made you monsters.
My money, huh? And what are you going to do without my money? You can kiss
Should be
toys
noted
all
that he
you
was
like.
also quite rich beforehand.
Well, presumably about to lose his wealth, considering that most of it is wrapped up in his business.
And tear it down myself.
That's where you're wrong, sweetheart. Cause when I divorce your ass, I'm gonna take half of all this. Toy Zone's gonna be bigger and better than ever. I'll expand. Open a Toy Zone.
She did marry him for his business insights, so what can we say?
In every city and these United States.
Of
That
course,
might
now
be a
that-
bad idea considering the decline of toy shops, but, you know, Lex did warn him.
I think that him telling her all of these plans is gonna make her go and do these plans instead.
Potentially. I mean, either way, it's not going to go well because he's, like, outwardly declared it. Every time a Hatchetfield character declares their intentions, they never achieve them. So, there you go. I've said before, I support women's rights and, more importantly, women's wrongs. Well, I mean, we were talking about before the idea of, like, rich people getting away with everything, but it seems more so that hot people in this case managed to sway the views of our chat. In this case, they won the same.
I like the sound of that.
Sherman watches the fight from the sidelines. Frank turns on his heels and heads for the door.
See you around.
He likes the sound of that, but he didn't like the idea that of you know, being called a baby. But okay.
Sheila, my future ex-wife. This partnership is over.
Wait for me, Daddy. I'll get my things.
You're not coming with me, Sherman. You're weird.
Actually, wait a minute. That Sherman going with him would actually be kind of a good idea, wouldn't it? Because that would give him a taste of what the rest of the world looks like outside of the confines of this house.
And when we split up, everything in the divorce, that gold-plated chrome star is mine.
See, if it weren't Fatty's divorcing her, then he wouldn't need to go this step. But now there's the conflict of who gets the collection.
Just as Frank puts his hand on the front doorknob, Sheila calls after him.
So, you think you can just abandon me and your son? Well, I've got news for you, Frank. No one walks out on Sheila Young!
She grabs hold of a lever on the wall and pulls it. Suddenly, the floor beneath Frank gives way as a trap door flies open.
And this is where the Hatchetfield weirdness starts to rear itself.
Frank slides down a slime-coated tunnel, ancient and stinky.
Slime-coated?
He screams and flails, then falls. Flash! He lands in a flooded underground pit. He spits a mouthful of stale green water.
What?
Panicked, Frank finds himself in some sort of ancient catacombs beneath the house. He feels something scurry past his arm. Dozens of furry shapes paddle through the water.
Rats.
Hello, friendly winds. Imagine.
Oh, dear God.
A voice echoes down into the subterranean hell.
Goodbye, Daddy.
Man, Sherman just changes personality on a dime, doesn't he? He's like, oh, wait, I'll come with you. Oh, never mind. You're dead. Goodbye. What is his end game, is my question. Oh, I guess maybe because of the fact that he said I'm going to take my collection. Now he's like, never mind. Actually, no, I don't want to go with you.
I like you say this
The
as if his
trapdoor
brain
closes,
works
and
right.
Frank
Well, I mean, his brain might work right, but the question then becomes, how does it work?
is left
Sure.
down there, in the dark. Sherman comes to his mother, sheepishly.
He was a bad daddy, wasn't he, Mother?
Yes, baby. Just like all the others. Marco!
The huge, gaunt man appears from the shadows.
Frank Priceley needs to disappear. See to it, will you?
He probably packed all of his essentials in the suitcases that have been next to him, but yeah.
Underground, Frank finds a ledge and pulls himself out of the water. He can just barely make out the shape of a long stone hallway.
Oh no. Oh no, this can't be happening. It's a nightmare.
Nightmare time.
It's a nightmare.
Clip. Clop. Frank hears shambling footsteps in the dark.
Hello? Who's there? Hello?
Suddenly, a figure rushes out, grabbing hold of him.
You have to get me out of here. I'm in a hurry.
Of course you are.
What? Who are you?
My name's Barry Swift. I'm down here for...
I can think it was Nick Swift for some reason, but Barry Swift, okay.
I don't know how long. I tried to run from her, and that huge man threw a javelin right through my leg. They sewed me up, but I think...
Ah, that's a nice callback to Marco being a javelin champion from the Olympic, the singular Olympic.
Yeah, I think it's infected. I have to get to a doctor. Quick!
Frank looks down to see the man's crudely wrapped leg and
Believer.
understands why he's in such a hurry.
So that might show me
Caked in dried blood and oozing pus. Frank does his
You know what? Even make that even better. I didn't even notice it was her playing Marco.
best to calm the man.
It's all right, Barry. Why don't you lay down?
Frank leads him to a dry spot on the floor. He rips off his jacket, bundles it, and lays it beneath Barry's head.
Stay here. I'll try to find a way out.
And finding a heart for a guy. It's Jeff Blim, I understand.
Please. Hurry.
Frank stumbles through the tunnels. He sloshes through a foot of stinking sludge, realizing this must be some forgotten corner of Hatchetfield's sewer system. Soon, he runs face first into a heavy iron gate. A padlock hangs from the latch. Beyond it,
or it's not
tunnels link
forgotten,
up
they're
with the
just
rest
paid
of the
off.
city's pipes. Frank
Yeah, potentially, because you would think that a part of a sewer system would not get forgotten easily, because it's part of a system.
can even spot light shining down from a manhole. He grabs hold of the bars and shakes them with all his might.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it!
He goes limp. He hangs from the bars in utter despair.
There's no way out.
There's like one entrance. If you're in the sewage system, then
No way.
2 weeks later, Sheila Young admires her reflection in a full-length mirror.
oh, just
She
on
wears
board
a
again.
yellow sequin cocktail dress. Tonight is the Hatchetfield Honey Festival, and she plans on turning some heads.
Oh, remember the?
I remember
I'm not going to
this.
pause in this frame. I'm not going to pause in this frame.
She marches to the front door.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember the tune, the Honey Queen, da 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 da, something. Yeah, okay. Never mind.
Sherman dear, I'm going out. I've grieved long and hard, but now it's time to find you a new daddy.
Oh, boy.
I mean, she did marry him super quickly, so I guess that's yeah.
Can we stop by Toy Zone on the way home? It's been 2 weeks and I'm jonesing.
Sherman, we've been
Sure, okay.
over this. Toy Zone is closed.
Unless Lex took over. Can you imagine the promotion of a lifetime?
I beg to differ. 4 p.m. is well within business hours.
Yes, but remember, the proprietor of Toy Zone is locked away in the dungeon.
Can't we just pay someone to let me in? I mean, what is the
There's gotta be, okay, hold on. This is a big corporation. You're telling me it all relies on whether one dude is there or not?
I'm not actually sure if it does, because remember, Frank bought Toy Zone, yes, from somebody else, but if he bought that Toy Zone, I guess that doesn't just mean like the particular franchise that was open. I think Toy Zone might just not be a chain. Because he also said he planned to expand Toy Zone afterwards, and if this one closed down, then that'd be it for the entire company. So again, I think it is just one location.
Fine, but it shouldn't still rely on whether one dude's there or not. Like, surely he has like a double or someone, right?
The only other employee we've seen so far is Lex.
That doesn't mean there aren't others. It just means that Starkid doesn't have the budget for more.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's only like 4 different people playing all these characters. They can get another Jamie Moon Beef in here for one of the other employees.
There's
do anything
no.
cool with it?
Sherman, forget Toy Zone. You can buy the same shit it online.
What happened? Oh, Amazon. Curses. Anyway, yeah. Also, what happened to like Sheila's audio in this case? Because it seems like there's something gone wrong with the microphone there. Unless I speak from expertise here.
Online? You cannot capture the same tactile experience online. You just don't understand. No one does.
Also, yeah, this is another one from Black Friday. Forget what it was called. It was like get what you want, do what you something. I don't know. Anyway,
He stomps off to his room and slams the door.
Sherman! Don't be a poo!
don't be a poo. Okay.
Beneath the house, Marco descends a winding staircase. At the bottom is the entrance to the dungeon.
Even now you told me it's Javelin BT, I still don't see it, which is, you know, kudos to the makeup department.
He removes a large ring of keys from his pocket and unlocks the metal door.
Apart from the eyes. Okay, the eyes.
Waiting on the other side is Frank. He's haggard, wasted away. Marco drops a tray of moldy food and kicks it to Frank.
Oh, so he's being kept alive. That's interesting. I don't think Sheila would bother.
Giant slams the door.
I
Unless
wouldn't
he really
say
does
that's
need-
kept alive. That's moldy food.
Well, he is being fed right now.
That doesn't. No, that does not count as feeding. That's gonna kill him.
Barry, who lies shivering on the cold.
I mean, they may as well
stone
just
floor.
gave him like a bottle of poison.
I mean, Marco is an excellent chef. I'm sure he can even make like moldy steak taste good.
Here you
Sure.
go, Barry. Try to eat something.
I should have known. I should have listened to my friends when they told me not to marry her. That it was all happening too fast.
That's a shame. I guess that means that that the marriage between her and and Frank is not legal then, if she's already married. Barry
But I was
Swift.
in a hurry, Frank. To settle down, start a family.
I know, Barry. Try not to talk.
I'm gonna die down here, Frank.
Don't say that! We're getting out of here somehow. Well, you don't want to miss the Honey Festival, do you?
It's happening right now.
Soon. Or right now?
Yeah, probably right now.
Oh, God. Oh, God, how long have I been down here?
You're gonna have to go to the festival without me, Frank. Find Helen for me.
Helen?
Hello?
My ex-wife. She always told me to slow down. Stop and smell the roses.
Frank's ears perk up. He hears footsteps descending the staircase.
Someone's coming. Barry, do you hear that?
Oh man, that reminds me of a deeply depressing thing I heard the other day, where someone was like, "Man, everyone always tells you to stop and smell the roses, but I'm so confused. Do flowers have like individual scents?" And then people were like, "Well, they used to, but we had to we had to mark them, so now I've kind of engineered them to not, because it's quicker."
So you mean to say that the entire, the entire world yield of flowers is engineered to smell a certain way?
No, but a lot of the ones you get at the store, yeah.
Oh, well then don't smell roses in a store. Easy solution.
You have to live. You have to live. You have to.
For the record, chat, I can't smell, so that's why I had to actually ask that question. I genuinely did not know.
Hurry.
The dungeon door creaks open. A figure stands there. The light from his lantern stings Frank's eyes. It's Sherman.
Hello, Mr. Priceley.
Not being called Daddy anymore.
Sherman? Is that you? My boy. My sweet boy.
Nice
I
try.
have a problem. And you're going to fix it, Frank.
Frank. Don't call me that. I know your mother and I are in a fight right now, but no matter what, I'm always gonna be your
You have to say it.
dad.
There you go.
Not for long. Mother's gone out to find a new one. But you know what I'm starting to think? I don't think she cares about getting me a daddy. She just wants a big old shot of vitamin D. She told me to shop online like a fucking millennial.
Are you not a millennial?
Online?
He's in his 40s.
I repeat my question.
Going to the toy store is more than buying things. It's about the weight of the packages in your hands, the smell of fresh plastic.
The tactile experience.
I know. So that's why you are going to tell me how to get in.
Okay, yeah, I was right. No, yeah, it looks like, well, okay, so they're in like their early 40s.
There we go.
He's a little bit past the mark, I think.
Okay. Sherman cursing is funny, and I don't know why. That is true as well. And also mentioning a good shot of vitamin D for, you know, such an emotionally stunted person. That is very specific. Very specifically, like more. I don't want to say I don't want to say mature reference, but you know, a reference for more mature audiences.
Sherman, that's impossible. I have a state-of-the-art security system. I need to scan my finger to unlock it.
Okay.
Then I will take your hands. Anyway.
Now take your finger.
Oh, close.
One.
What about mall security? They won't let anyone in but me. Now, if you let me out, I'll take you.
Just let me out, let me out, let me out.
What's gonna stop you from running? You tried to leave before. You said I was weird.
You are weird.
But hey, us weirdos have got to stick together. That's what they say in the Owl House.
Just like me. No one understands you like I do, Sherman. I love you, and now you can let me out, and we can go to the toy store, or...
The reaction there from Sherman. Still not really internalizing that.
You can let me die down here. It's your choice. The only thing you can really do to hurt me is deny me one last chance to...
Make you happy?
To hold my son.
He opens his arms. Sherman stares at him. After a moment, his lip quivers, and he throws himself at Frank.
What, through the bars?
Daddy!
Yeah. That's my boy. My sweet boy.
Frank holds him, patting his back gently. And while he silently commends himself for being one goddamn hell of a salesman,
Yeah.
Frank removes the key ring from Sherman's pocket.
I mean, it's interesting because Sherman would have maybe let him out after this, but and then he could have gotten way further away without having to run as far.
Okay.
But now he's going to try and like open the doors. It's like, where's my keys? Oh, where the hell the keys go? Oh, you have them. You try to betray me.
I'll talk to my mother.
Oh, okay, never mind. Just get to
You're the
wait.
only daddy I want. Toy Zone. Oh, here I come.
Sherman races from the dungeon and scampers up the spiral stairs. Keys in hand, Frank shuffles to his fellow prisoner, shaking them.
Barry, I got him. I got the keys. We can unlock the gate to the sewers.
He's
We're
dead.
getting out of here, Barry. Barry? Barry?
Frank shakes him again. No response.
Nice
Okay,
timing, definitely
so-
there.
For a pulse.
Because chat, okay, between you, me, and chat, I went off and I was like, okay, hold on, I'm double checking. How old can you be to still be a millennial at this point? No, so if he is exactly 40, he is a millennial because the oldest millennial would be 41,
Which is the age that he is turning.
which is crazy how close
doesn't
that
find
is.
Hmm.
Oh no.
It almost makes me
Come on,
wonder if, well, no, because I guess that would, I don't know. I guess it's just a plot hole.
I'm not gonna let you rot down here.
Frank takes hold of Barry and lifts him onto his back.
One way or another, we're getting out of this hellhole.
Up in
might
the
wanna-
house, the front doors burst open.
I want to watch.
Sherman, I'm home.
Oh, there we
and
go.
I brought someone I'd like you to meet. I just adore him, and I know you will too.
The
I'm really hoping it's Ted. Like, this feels like the kind of situation that Ted would find himself in at some point.
gentleman caller, Ted Spankovsky,
Yes! Oh my goodness. That's almost as good as yesterday on Gotcha Review. Almost.
Yes,
her
Luke.
inside.
So millennials, the millennial generation started in 81. By 2022, they would have been 41. Or at least, well, the oldest one would be.
Yeah, which is what we said before. Oh no, Ted. Oh yes, Ted. Oh yes, indeed, Ted.
Where is the little bastard?
No,
Also, I'm pretty sure that Ted is actually younger than Sherman.
Mother. You will not bring another man into this house. You are a married woman.
Hey, works for me.
Of course it does.
Sherman, don't be rude. Come say hello.
No! I want you to release Mr. Priceley. I'm not losing my toy store because you're feeling frisky.
Hey! Don't sass your mother or I'll kick your ass, old man.
You're really serious, aren't you, Sherman?
Also, I love how she doesn't process the threat from Ted here. Despite that kind of, I mean, Frank was actually, as you know, was still laid down on discipline. You know, he did call himself disciplined daddy at one point, but that was a much less blatant. Maybe that's what you're looking for. Maybe Frank was just too far it was too much in the middle ground to being too soft and too hard on him. I don't know.
Yeah, you mean
because they're thinking about Sir Priceley now, so.
Yeah, Frank was too much like a human being. He wasn't all good or all bad.
Sheila was looking for a Ted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, look at the ball cap is just like it's like an air bubble in it.
If you don't patch things
Abby
up with
thinks
Frank,
that Ted
I'll-
Spankovsky is such a baby girl.
Okay. Well, I believe that Sheila thinks he's the exact opposite.
Run away again.
Sherman takes out a bindle packed with snacks. He rests it on his shoulder, standing his ground. Sheila sees his determined face, a face she never learned to say no to.
Fine.
Having no more use for her date, she removes a pistol from her purse and points it at him.
Huh? No!
Bang! She fires. The bullet tears into Ted's shoulder.
Come on, if you're gonna get rid of somebody, don't go for the shoulder. It's gonna make it more painful for them.
She shoots 3 more rounds. One enters his stomach, one his nuts, and one his head.
There we
Falls to the marble floor.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
the
think the
head-
intent.
Oh, but
I
she
think the
fired
intent
that-
was pain.
She fired the other 3 rounds, but yet the head one took forever to process.
Dead.
Well,
Marco,
yeah, that makes
Clean
sense,
that
doesn't it? Though.
Sheila looks like she's a character from Spies Are Forever now, actually.
I can see it.
He grabs hold of Ted's
I think
legs and
I
drags
think
him
Marco
away.
is like a character from the Addams Family.
Someone in the chat said that before, actually. I forget the name of the character, but I know which one people are thinking of.
Sheila steps over the trail of blood and takes her son's face in her hands.
maybe I do spoil you. But it's because you and I are the only 2 people that matter. Everyone else is livestock for us. You'll understand. Soon.
You mean the gift?
Hmm.
Are you finally going to give it to me, Mother?
I mean, it has. Yeah, you do look older than her, so it's about time you receive the gift if it is what I'm thinking it is.
Not this year, but if you're very good, maybe for your next birthday.
Yeah, curb your spending habits and then we'll talk.
Now let's go and have a word with your father.
Sherman and Sheila descend the staircase to the dungeon. They follow the muddy trail of footprints to the dank corner where Frank and Barry have been living for the past 2 weeks. They find some rags and an empty food tray, but the men are gone.
Frank!
Sheila shines her lantern down a nearby passageway.
I wonder what seeing Barry would have done to Sherman, because presumably Sherman would have known Barry before as the previous daddy.
Nothing. Then she notices the look on her son's face. He frantically checks his pockets. Only now does Sherman realize his keys are missing.
Damn it. You let him escape?
Deep inside the maze of tunnels, Frank trudges through the muck. He carries Barry on his back, making his way to the barred door, the gate to the sewers, to freedom.
We're almost there, Barry. Hang on.
Jeff just has to play a corpse for half of this.
Hears a voice echo in the distance.
Marco!
The gaunt giant appears at Sheila's side, a javelin in hand.
Find him.
Marco takes off with inhuman speed. Frank turns back as the sound of monstrous footfalls splash behind him.
No!
Frank can...
I will say Mark also advised me like there's a few James Bond villains that look like that. For a while, the James Bond series had a thing for just like, you know, monstrous, you know, superhuman, second in commands. You know, the ones that will be will like actively fight James on the battlefield, and then before we have to go and face the real threat or something.
See the gate to the sewers, not more than 50 feet ahead, but he's moving too slowly. He knows Marco will catch him. He needs to lighten his load.
I'm sorry, Barry.
Fighting tears, Frank drops Barry's corpse. It plops into the water and sinks beneath the stinking offal.
That probably made a sound.
Frank bolts for the gate. He slams into it and tears the keyring from his pocket. He fumbles with the padlock, trying the first key. Marco rounds the corner, spots Frank, and wails. The giant cuts through the water. He raises the javelin. Frank tries the second key, the third, the fourth.
I'm sorry, Barry. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, Lex. Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
The padlock clanks open. Frank rips the chain and throws open the gate. Whoosh! Something flies past his head. Blood spills into his left eye. The javelin Marco threw grazed his temple. A split second later, the Colossus plows into Frank like a battering ram. He flies through the air and splashes into the sewage. Marco shambles forward, arms extended, ready to tear Frank to pieces. The tunnel shakes with Marco's approach. Boom, boom, boom. Then, by chance, or fate, or whatever
Whoever is playing as Marco is doing a great job. I have no idea who it is.
Again, also, yeah. The chat already said it was Damon and Beezy again. But even after saying that, I still can't tell. Now we know what Barry was talking about, because I think he mentioned Marco chasing him down. Oh yeah, that's true, because that's why I mentioned the javelin before. Yeah. I'm doing an incredible job of giving depth and making care about characters you wouldn't normally care about, like Ted, Linda, and now Frank. That's what I love about it. Yeah, that's the thing. When everyone gets like their own story, you can. It's stuff like the idea that everyone's the hero in their own story. In a sense, I guess that's that kind of philosophy, and also that everyone's doomed. That philosophy too.
He feels a smooth wooden haft beneath the water. The javelin. Frank grabs it and thrusts it forward. The giant barrels into it, impaling himself.
Yeah, it's the Sheila. It's the Jamie mansion.
On the end of the spear, black blood oozes from his chest. He grips.
Again, this is a very James Bond-esque visual from a certain time period.
his teeth and steps closer, ignoring the javelin, driving it further into himself. He wraps his hands around Frank's neck and starts to choke. Desperate, Frank pulls the javelin from Marco's body and jams it through the giant's eye, into his brain. The behemoth goes down.
Fun fact, there was somebody in like the 1860s who survived an injury that was very similar to that. Going through like into their brain and piercing their frontal lobe. Neuroscientists go crazy about that, apparently. I found that out today.
Falling lifeless into the sludge. Frank coughs.
Nick
He
Gage,
wipes blood from his glasses. He heads for the ladder to the manhole above.
That reminds me of that one moment. Have you guys ever heard of the Night Stalker?
No.
No. Okay. Just to brief you on who this little villain is. Real person, went around breaking into homes, tended to kill everyone, then sexually assault and then brutally murder the woman. So he was off on another outing, and he breaks in and he's about to go kill the husband. Now it should be noted the husband and his wife had an argument shortly before, and the wife was like, "Oh, something feels off." And he's like, "Oh, you're just being crazy, honey. Go to sleep, whatever." And she had to sleep on the couch. And so Night Stalker comes in, looks around, goes to the bedroom first, obviously, and finds the husband. He's like, "Well, all right, so I'm gonna go kill the husband." Shoots the husband in the head, and then he goes off to find the wife. But to his surprise, to his surprise, the husband survived. I don't know. The bullet, I guess, hit a very specific part of the head, or maybe it only got like a chunk through the skull, but the husband survived and happened to have a gun on the premises, grabbed the gun, and chased the Night Stalker out before anything happened. Which, imagine you shoot a guy in the head, and you're about to go do unfathomably evil things afterwards. You think everything is fine, and then the guy gets up out of bed as calm as can be with a gun and chases you out of the house. Imagine.
The Night Stalker suddenly had a nightmare. Yeah.
Right?
When he hears the click of a cocking pistol, Sheila Young steps out from the darkness.
Going somewhere?
Yeah, you're in a tunnel. That's shooting a gun in a tunnel. Even I know that's a bad idea.
Please.
Look what you did to Marco.
She kicks the butler's mammoth corpse.
Oh well. I'll make another one.
Please.
Out of Barry, possibly. I mean, where'd you get the raw material, is the question.
Don't kill me.
I'm not gonna kill you, Frank. Now move.
Interesting.
In a
Again,
vast
he's being
black
kept
room
alive.
in the west wing of the mansion, Sheila secures Frank's restraints, lies bound to a marble altar.
My first husband, Sherman's father, was a great man. Great and powerful. He was the one who first gave me the gift. Who showed me the power of the Black Book.
Have we covered the Black Book on here yet?
That sounds familiar. Isn't that like the Holy Bible, but for the sillies?
Yes. Okay, just
right.
checking.
Okay, because I remember Holloway had one.
Oh,
well, there you go. She was in this too.
By those disgusting inbred Hatchetmen. They may have founded Hatchetfield, but it's the Church of the Starry Children who made it greatest.
What are you talking
Including the Lakeside Mall, surprisingly.
about?
In one night, every member of the church was chopped to bits, and the book was lost. Luckily, my husband had the foresight to have certain passages transcribed.
Sheila opens a granite box and removes a handful of thick, yellowed pages.
You know, people ask me all the time, Sheila, why do you look so young? What's your secret? Well, this is it.
Huh?
Like so many before you, I lured you to my home. Now, Your remaining years will be mine.
What did I say at the start of the video? Let's go!
I married Sherman's father.
Oh, I didn't realize how absurd what I said was until Bluke pointed it out quite aptly in chat.
Well, yeah, because I mean, unless people have, to the regulars watching our streams, the sillies makes a lot of sense, but to anyone else, any new viewers out there, the sillies are what we call the Lords in Black on this channel.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think husbands were how Sheila was staying young. So did I, and I said that like 10 minutes into the video.
100 years ago. Time flies.
Hold on, let me just go back for a second.
1920. 100 years ago.
Maybe Sherman might not have been a millennial after all.
Time flies.
That's impossible. It's just impossible.
Don't believe me? I'll show you.
Sheila lifts her hands into the air. On the ceiling is a painted mural depicting.
Hold on a second. If Sherman's father was the first one, I guess he must have also had a gift for some time. If Sherman's only 40.
Twisted horde of nightmare things. She reaches toward them, worshipping them, coveting them.
I invoke the names Pokotha, Blicklotep, Tanoi, Caruxus.
Frank feels the energy in the
That's
room
them,
shift,
the sillies.
like the atoms in the air are being charged, corrupted. The mural on the ceiling begins to change. Frank doesn't see it happen exactly. He perceives it with some unknown sense. 1,000 eyes open and roll in his direction. A creature with a goat's head screams with laughter. Sheila continues.
Nibble-a-nephum, Wigog-Girath.
At the name, the room quakes. Shadowy
Of course, Wiggle Girath is the one that does it.
tentacles slither to life on the mural above.
What's happening?
And now,
Hello, friendly ones.
Sheila flips through her manuscript, this collection of esoteric spells. She finds the page she's looking for and freezes.
what the fuck?
That's
Sherman, get
that's very Starkid to just say that phrase.
your little ass in here.
From the doorway, her son peeks inside.
Yes, Mother. What is this?
She holds up the pages. Scribbled on top of the text is a cartoonish drawing of smiling, fanciful critters.
Well, that's Rainbow Heart. That's Soggy Tail. Do you have any idea what you've done? I needed those words and you covered them with bad drawings of those fucking squirrels. Don't yell at me, you idiot! You stain on the family name. You've killed us all. You are never going to the toy store again. I'm going to burn every goddamn doll you have. It's not my fault you didn't memorize the words. It's a bunch of gibberish. No one can memorize those words. I did.
An evil grin comes to Sherman's lips.
What?
Well, that's perfect. Recite the words then. That's what we needed.
Then I drew all over the pages. There's only one place the spell is now, and that's right up here.
Well, let's hope his brain functions then. As we said before, how does it work?
Sherman advances on his mother. She steps back, realizing she said too much.
Oh, that is a
realizing
weird
the drawing was a
sentence.
trap.
What is? Realizing she said too much?
Sherman advances on his mother, huh?
Oh, right, okay.
A test of her love. A test she failed.
Sherman, dear. Stain on the family name? I always suspected that's what you really thought of me, and now I know. Calm down. You never gave me the gift because you wanted power over me. You
Or I guess, she was hoping that he would die out by natural causes and then she don't have to deal with him anymore.
let me get old. I've outgrown you, Mother.
Sherman, don't.
You wouldn't give me the gift, so now I'm gonna take it. Happy birthday to me!
Sherman, please.
Actually, wait a minute. Now I think about it, did we say before that his birthday was in 3 weeks and it's been 2 weeks? So, depending on how that probably lined and, whether or not Frank was estimating, it might actually be Sherman's proper birthday today.
I'm your mother.
Sherman raises his hands into the air and chants.
Hum-de-da-da-day, hum-de-ah.
Hum-de-da-da-day, eh? That's very similar to la-de-da-da-day.
Sherman, no! Kaleka-karakanya, nibbergana.
The nightmare creatures in the mural roar with delight. The room trembles, electricity flies through the air. Sheila howls in pain as her flesh writhes and tears. Her hair turns white. Her eyes and tongue rot in their skull. Her stomach splits, and her gut...
I will admit my mistake. I thought it was going to be Frank and not Sheila. But, I'll still say I knew someone was going to end up in this situation.
shoot out. They are decomposing, crawling with maggots. A bolt of lightning strikes the living, screaming corpse, and Sheila Young...
A bolt of lightning? Aren't they in a tunnel system right now? What? Huh?
Explodes into a cloud of dust.
Holy shit!
The Sheila dust swirls around Sherman. He sucks it in, gulps it down, then a burst of light and silence.
That's how you get
Frank
possessed.
opens his eyes.
What's his
A
young
mist
form
hangs
look like?
in the air.
Let's
A
see.
voice rings out. Small, high-pitched.
He's just an actual child.
Right, well,
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense, right? He gets a second chance because he was like, oh, you let me grow old, right? So it's the idea of that now that he knows that, like, everything that's happened, he wants to give life a second try as a whole.
Yeah. I guess that, does raise the question of, whether or not as soon as someone receives the gift, they would stay at the same age that they were at the time forever, or they were able to revert back to somewhere, in which case to where would be the question.
They say growing old is mandatory.
Yeah.
Well, wait till they get a load of me.
Emerging from the ethereal smoke is a child.
How to make it Sheldon's voice, not Sheldon's voice, Sherman's voice. even more bizarre.
I
in
hate
cell form.
this. I hate this thing we've paused on. I can't discern who's who. This is some abomination. This is its own creature entirely. What is this?
If Nightmare Time covered the idea of fusion, this is what it would look like. You're welcome, everyone.
God, I'm trying to discern where the Frank line ends and the Sherman one begins, but I can't. I don't know.
And yes, I'm pretty sure they had it written down. Definitely. Okay, so they are in a room in the mansion. Well, that still raises the question as to where the bolt of lightning came from.
Child, no older than 7. He has a mop of curly hair, rosy, freckled cheeks.
That's not
Only
curly,
his
but
eyes
okay.
tell his age. Frank knows those eyes.
Sherman?
I mean, who else is going to be in this room right now?
Hi there, Daddy.
You're a boy. You're a little boy.
Huzzah! I'm a kid again. And if I start to get old, I'll just absorb someone else. I know the words. Remember that, Frank.
He climbs onto the altar and takes a seat beside Frank. He kicks his feet playfully.
I'm gonna make a deal with you, Frank. I'm gonna give you all the money you want. Toy Zone stays open every day.
That's almost the same deal that his mother gave.
And in return, you're gonna take care of me. Or pick the crunchy pieces out of my cereal. Give me everything my little spoiled heart desires. That's
Oh.
right, Frank. You're gonna be my daddy. Forever and ever.
Does that mean that he's gonna give Frank the gift as well? Because that's because otherwise it won't be forever. One of Sherman thought that one through.
No!
Another Sherman visual. Great. And now? Oh! Come on! That would have been the perfect chance to do that visual again. I thought I was going to be 3 for 3 there as far as predictions go. I thought we were going to get like the song from I don't know, the squirrels or whatever it was in pure like Disney-fied, you know, amazing. Okay, fine, whatever. All right.
You know, looking at Sherman close up like that, it reminds me of what I was thinking of just the other day. We had to bring our foster dogs over to the vet, and you know, one of them puked, and you know, whatever, right? Leave out the more gross details, right? They're dogs, but
more gross. Okay, oh wait, never mind.
But you know, I was thinking, why is it that a human, you know, you skip one day of brushing teeth and you look like you just chewed through the sewer yourself? But for a dog, they drink mud every day and they look pearly white. And Jamie's has very white teeth, and that's why they remind me of that. But I just don't get it. Why do dogs seem to have so much more defense in their teeth than a human does?
You know, I'm sure there's someone's investigating into that. Because I mean, if you think about it, like a lot, like I mean, it's the same case with like animal stomachs. If you think about it, the stuff that animals put into their stomachs, you know, humans can't really process raw meat anymore, for the most part.
Things would be so much easier if we could, though. Oh my god.
Potentially. I mean,
You
people
know,
say it's been theorized that the reason that it's the reason that we you know, certain like, you know, apes came down from the trees originally was because they couldn't produce vitamin C on their own anymore.
see, this is what I just don't
Apes
get,
don't
right?
get scurvy. That's
They don't
awesome.
get scurvy. Shoot. See, evolution is such an annoying trade-off, man, because it's like, whoopee, we can eat warm things now. Yay, we can produce all kinds of vitamins. But now that you can do that, you can't do the things you could do before. So it's like,
Yeah,
okay.
actually, there is a documentary where this lady was trying to like offered up like a model of herself that was like digitally altered and such, and so she was the whole idea was like investigating like what, you know, the perfect human would be. So essentially, you know, how to fix for example, like, you know, bad knees. Well, what do you do? Well, you reverse the legs or something. But guess what? You can't climb trees anymore. So it was the whole process was like that. So eventually, instead of like making the perfect human, it ended up being just an alternate version of evolution, and that was it, because it had different trade-offs.
Right? It's like I just wish that evolution works so that we could simply gain and just stop doing the trade-offs. Things would be quite convenient then.
I suppose. At that at that point, you might as well. At that point, natural selection would never kick in. There'd be nothing to select.
Sure, it naturally select. I feel like there's always gotta be something. I mean, we'll fight
Which
each
means
other
there will always
if
be a
need
trade-off.
be.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you know,
I was favorite characters now. I'm still laughing from that last bit.
I will say I was also about alligators the other day, or was it crocodiles? I don't know. I think it's alligators, but alligators are interesting. Apparently, they die of old age on a technicality. They don't really die of old age. They die of like illness and stuff because they just keep aging until eventually they've grown so gigantic that they can't feed anymore, and they just starve or die through some other cause, but not like age, which is an interesting thing. Yeah, that's not really a thing you see in like a ton of like immortality concepts. But that's a weird way that evolution works for them, right? It's like you get to be immortal. But you don't. But you aren't immortal. But you aren't immune to the flu.
Yeah. Does that mean that alligators that bred in captivity just get gigantic by comparison?
I guess, but because the food that they eat has to be relative. That's why eventually they just starve because they can't find anything that can satisfy their size anymore.
Yeah, but if you think that that's why I said if they're bred in captivity, then they just mean they would be maintained for a lot longer in that case.
Sure, yeah. Or for an eternity. I don't know. Maybe it'll. God, imagine how crazy it is.
People there's festivals and such where there'll be competitions for the biggest squash, the biggest pumpkin, the biggest whatever. Why is there no competition for the biggest alligator?
That'd be so good. That is a Florida thing, but I would so sign on. Oh, that's awesome.
If Hatchetfield were in Florida and not Michigan, that would be part of the Honey Festival.
Man, imagine a long line of serial killers. One of them just wants to get a pet alligator or whatever, and so they feed him eventually with just mountains of corpses.
That's Little Shop of Horrors right there. That's Audrey too.
The alligator looks at you as the owner. Feed me, Seymour.
Exactly. Or it just sounds like Sherman. Feed me, Seymour. You feed me all night long. Anyway.
And people say that, man, and they're like, oh, God is against killing and stuff. Man, alligators are killing machines, and you're telling me you made those things immortal? The only thing stopping them is what you managed to provide. Their bodies could sustain themselves.
Yep, we just went over that.
That's crazy.
This is reality gotcha review. Now I was comparing Sherman to that because at the end the characters say they'll play forever and ever. That is true. Unfortunately there are no more episodes. This is reality, but otherwise I would definitely give Yandere Girl the the voice of Sherman. You know what? Next Yandere character, I'm gonna make them sound like Sherman Young. Anyway, that was the episode, and as you can tell, my headphones have actually died, so definitely got to wrap this up soon.
Sure.
I'm not sure what kind of effect that's going to have on the actual audio quality, so there's a chance you might be getting picked up by a microphone in duplicates, but yeah, I don't know. The business reality for a placeholder, which is Fates of Us. I suppose that's one way of going about it. Okay, so but in any case, so in this episode, I was not expecting it to be about Sherman. I felt with a lot of Nightmare Times, I don't know where they're going to go with a certain idea, but as soon as certain characters appear, you think oh, okay, that's why this is about this person, or in the. And there's a lot of Black Friday characters too, actually, which maybe now I think about it might be a lot of the Nightmare Times, particularly the Nightmare Time 2s, about Black Friday characters versus the Nightmare Time 1s. I think with some exceptions, like Tom Houston, for example. I think that was Nightmare Time 1, but I don't know. But yeah, in this case, I mean, you could tell I was they knew where they were going from the beginning somewhat this time. So, but hey, in some cases with horror, even if there's no, not as much mystery to it, the sense of the impending sense of dramatic irony, I suppose, kind of carries that a little bit as well. Dramatic irony in horror is actually quite something, because you can't blame the characters for being stupid anymore because they wouldn't know any different. What I'm surprised at is how quickly Frank changed his tune as soon as he started living with Sherman, considering that he kind of should have known what he was getting himself into in that regard, because he was so on board previously. And then, of course, the double standard of oh, don't be so harsh on Sherman or whatever. Don't disciplining him to eat certain things, but then also, how dare you not back me up for making him, go to the doctor. Sherman hugged you, therefore you're at fault for this, not disciplining him. It's some of the ways we got to certain points in the story maybe wouldn't have been ideal. But then again, some of the others, and the fact that Lex came back and didn't really affect too much of the plot itself, but it's just there essentially because, of course, you would be. It's Toy Zone, continuity's sake. Bring back Angela, which I will never complain about. And I guess the other elephant in the room, I suppose, addressing the Jamie Lynn Beatty situation, which the fact that I couldn't tell that she was Marco. Mostly, I'd say. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna put that down to the makeup department, but also to Jamie's performance herself, because obviously we've seen her different ranges a lot of the time now in other Starkid productions, so I'm sort of used to it by this point. Gone are the days where she would only get the undesirable roles like Ginny Weasley or I don't know, whatever the character's name was in MAMD. The less I think about that musical, the better, so I don't really want to know. Whether or not her range is unmatched, that really depends, because a lot of Starkid members, especially the ones that have lasted for so long, have gone on to play vastly different characters to the ones they might have started out with. So I'm not sure about unmatched, but it is definitely impressive. And hey, as somebody who values their own range and likes to demonstrate it whenever possible, in whatever capacity, I can definitely appreciate that someone got the opportunity here to just flourish in some way and just, play three very separate extremes of characters all tied in by one central theme, I suppose. Immortality. Okay, apparently it was Sally. Again, the less I think about that musical, the better, but fine. Anyway, anything else you want to add, BB?
How can you even hear me? I don't.
I can. This is the question.
Oh, okay.
By the way, because the order and reason now are going to be different. That's why I want to,
Okay.
I'll hold you to my microphone.
I thought you just couldn't hear anything, and so that's why I messaged that in the private chat, because I was like, oh, you just can't hear me. So I was like, oh, hold on. I didn't. Okay. No, I mean, I kind of agree. Yeah, the Jamie got some pretty great range. Well, Blue Guy, I know you guys can hear both of us, because I can hear both of us, but I wasn't sure if Jacob could hear me.
The only message in private chat that I have is we hear you the same. We hear you fine, no differences.
Well, yeah, because you were saying you weren't sure if that was going to change any of the audio, which it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Jamie has some pretty great range. I don't know, it felt pretty nice in the writing. I always like a nice little silly appearance. I like how consistently, anytime the sillies appear, the tone always shifts. The music got significantly more dramatic as soon as they started doing their whole murder of the mom or whatever. It's yep.
Oh yeah, you missed one visual in the Young at Heart music video, by the way, where Sherman was in bed, and then there was a few of the Care Bears around, and then suddenly there was a flash, and for a couple of frames, it became the silly plushes instead.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was right at the end of the song, so I don't know if that counts, but yeah, for the most part.
I'm excited for Nerdy Prudes Must Die, just so I can see the sillies really go at it again. Because they're always teased in the Nightmare Time episodes. We never really get to see them just go full throttle.
Most of the time, yeah, that's the build up. Okay, yeah, we've got those. I was gonna say how many more Nightmare Times did we actually have? So we got Killer Track, then we have Yellow Jacket, and I think that's it actually.
Also, yes, Bluke. As far as I'm aware, we are planning on doing the live stream segments. I did leave a list in the Butterbunch chat. We'll decide whenever we get there, but we do have the list ready if we do decide to do it. So,
Yellow Jacket is the last one. Okay. All right. Well, Yeah, I guess look forward to all of those, I suppose. And also, since people are here, I to say this is the last live stream that I'm doing like in this location for right now, because that for like the next month, because I'll be off in Galicia. I don't know how good the internet connection is going to be while I'm away, so I might not be here for the next streams necessarily for Starkid stuff. And if I am, it might be a lot worse, or maybe someone else might host that. It depends. So
hey, I kept this stream alive for a good while last time. Okay, I was the originator of the sillies. All right.
yeah, which is why I trust that's fine. Because Aidan was asking what was going to happen for the Starkid stuff, and I reminded him that it's happened before. So at least when I'm not around, I've announced it. Which yeah, I guess Aidan missed the outro. We are about to wrap up right now. So.
True. By the way, guys in chat, I do want to play Minecraft on stream sometime this week, if I can. Maybe even tomorrow. I don't know. You guys can give, like, I don't know if you guys want to see, like, modded or vanilla, what type of mods, what Minecraft version. If you guys just, like, whatever you want, throw that in there. I'm probably going to stream that tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, but as for us right now, this stream is over, so let us know your thoughts, means of liking or disliking, and leaving your comments as per usual on, you know, stuff that we've missed, or other observations, or whatever you want, or praising Jamie and BT, that works too. But either way, we'll see you all soon enough in other